But Manning, CLNS Media. Ime, offensively, how did you try to settle down as the game went on against all the help and aggression they're doing against you defensively? And then on your defensive side for you guys, you're dropping in that third. What was the adjustment after they hit a bunch of threes over that scheme?
Yeah, offensively, it was really to keep our composure and not get sped up. Felt last game we weren't our best at attacking the rim and finding our outlets, and our spacing was much better tonight. Guys being patient and finding the driving lanes, and then obviously getting to the basket, the second chance points, and offensive rebounds were big for us. Defensively, they hit some tough shots in the third, obviously. 4-point play, 7-point play, whatever it was with the flagrant foul there, but we didn't fall off the cliff offensively like we did in other games. 33-25 in that quarter, we kept scoring, and then obviously had a big fourth quarter. So that was the main key, to continue to be solid on offense and stay out of the teens like we did in the first two games in the third quarter.
Fifth row on the right, Mark Murphy.
Hey, Ime, Mark Murphy, Boston Herald. Especially down the stretch, just how much was Rob's presence at the rim helping you guys just do what you had to do defensively?
Yeah, it was huge, and not only the shots that he did block, I think he got 4 tonight, but the ones he altered, and his presence down there, of course, deters guys from driving. But he was a big part of what we did, staying big tonight, getting those 15 offensive rebounds and 22 second chance points, and so those were much needed. And we want to try to impose our will and our size in this series, and it's going to be a back and forth battle as far as that. But when we get nights like this from him, Rob, or him and Al, obviously it pays dividends for us.
On the left, standing in the back.
Ime, you talked a lot after game two about the energy you wanted you guys to play with after the way that game went. It seemed like right from the beginning of the game, you guys came out with a pretty clear intent to play a little more physically, to get after rebounds, to kind of play with more energy. Was that obviously something you guys really talked about the last couple of days, and did you like how you guys were able to apply that right off the bat?
Yeah, we loved the start. Other than the turnovers late in the half, that allowed them to get back into it a little bit. I thought we were solid overall, and just from a strictly physical standpoint, we matched their intensity better than last game, especially in the third quarter. So, it's ebbs and flows of a series, it's a long series, and we don't love how we kind of wilted at times last game, and that was a big point of emphasis the last few days.
Third row in the middle, Jay King.
You talked a couple of times before the game about taking a big picture view, even in the finals with this core. How do you take a big picture view now in the finals when there's kind of no smaller picture than this? And then with that, how much of a challenge is this for Rob, especially dealing with all their shooting, all their movement, everything, and what can he take away from this?
Yeah, he has to be adaptable and be able to play in any type of situation. And so, for us, more than switching the lineups and things that we've had success with all year, we'll look at scheme and matchup coverage more so than that first of all. And so, obviously, he paid dividends tonight. He was a big-time factor in the paint. We got to play our bigs quite a bit, and there are guys he can guard out there. Wiggins is different than a P.J. Tucker and some of the guys we've had that kind of stand in the corner more. He's obviously more active and can put it down a little bit better, so that's caused him some trouble. But also, like I mentioned, not being 100% and being able to slide and move on the perimeter as well. So we understand that, and like I said, it's the finals, and we got to do what we got to do to win. But this is a core group going forward, and to have the confidence to be able to figure it out with him is going to be big going forward.
First row on the right.
Brian Robb, Mass Live. In the email, you guys, I think, held them to 33% shooting in that fourth quarter, just 1-3 total there. To be able to do that when, like you think, you're sticking big against a smaller group like that, how big of it is that for you guys to be able to do that, given the struggles with that double big lamps in game two?
Yeah, I think especially after the third quarter, I think they made 6 or 7 in that quarter, and so we had to adjust a little bit. Got to switching a little bit more, and that's asking a lot of Rob and Al and those guys. They've done it all year, but with Rob being a little hampered and kind of getting out there, he got to work a little bit harder to get out on Curry and with the range and those guys have. So for him, it worked tonight, and we can adjust a little bit, and we doubled a little bit here and there, and switched a little bit more in the fourth to take away those threes. But I think what we did offensively as well, put them in some foul trouble situations, took some of their aggression away, and like I said, 4 block shots, but a lot that he deterred, and I'm sure they missed a few of those threes with this contest alone.
Fourth row in the middle.
Right. Daniel Bell, BSO. You guys seem to go at Steph early and often. Was the game plan to make him work more on defense?
Yeah, that's part of it, and that's been throughout the playoffs. We find matchups that we think are favorable, we'll attack those. And got some fouls early, so we knew he wouldn't be as aggressive. But not just that; it's that you don't want to let these guys rest on that end of the court. You know, we did it with Durant, we did it with Antetokounmpo at times. Even the good defenders, you don't want to give them the one end of the court off. And so we have guys that play both ends. Quite a few scoring threats out there as well as defensive guys, and so putting those guys in action and not letting them off the hook is part of the plan for sure.
6th row on the left.
Hey, Ime, I asked you before the game about your guys' ability to respond between games following a loss. What allowed you guys to respond tonight after that Stephen Curry 3 that put them up 83-82?
They were making some tough shots, honestly. I think offensively we were still sharp and felt we could guard better, but they did make some tough shots. And so for us, it was more the end of the first half that really allowed them to get back into it. Of course, they hit some big shots there, but we talked about it quite a bit, our group being resilient and being able to fight through a lot of things. And then at times when it's most needed, being able to lock down on defense, which we did in the fourth quarter. So another bounce back from us. And my message to the group was, we've done this after wins or after losses. Let's respond the right way after win now.
5th row on the right, Gary Washburn.
Yeah, Gary Washburn, Boston Globe. What are those conversations like with Robert? You list him question before every game. Is he saying, I can play, and you're like, slow down, Robert? What is that like, that interaction like before every game? He seems to be limping, but he's still running. Like, and have you seen something like this before where you're consulting with him before every game to see how he feels?
Yeah, well, at this point of the season is what it is, and we talked about it, but he doesn't do a whole lot physically in between, so you don't get a true sense until he really gets a good warm-up. And so, the day after it feels okay at times. The second day sometimes it's more sore, so it comes and goes, and that's why we're being deliberate about, listing him and really checking him out in case he feels worse. And swelling has been good, pain has been tolerable, and so it's a legit, like I said, day-to-day situation. And when he ramps up before the game, that's when we really know how he feels.
We'll take 2 more questions. 5th row in the middle.
Josie Pavone, CLNS Media. Coach, just about Grant Williams' performance out there, what did you see different in his approach? And because it seemed like in the beginning he was getting a little bit into it again with Draymond, but then he kept his composure, made some really big plays down the stretch. What did you see differently in his approach? And how important is that moving forward throughout the series?
Yeah, he's a big piece of what we do, and he's been that all season. And so hasn't shot it as his best in this series, but we rely on him to do so many other things, such as similar to Al, and defending multiple positions and also being that threat. But teams are guarding him different, and so try to keep it simple for him. And he made some nice plays to the basket, a few drives, a few floaters, and made the right reads. And so, simple as it sounds, he has to, navigate getting run off the line now and do what he's always done on defense. So it's huge for us, that added benefit from him, as well as Peyton and Derek and our bench guys.
Final question, back row on the left.
Hey, man, congrats on the win. Len Serra from ESPN Brazil. I know you just won Game 3, but what would it mean for you guys to go back to San Francisco, leading the series 3-1, and how will you manage the anxiety of your players for Game 4?
It'd be big to go back up to, I guess. Same as it would have been if we would have got the game there. But, it's a long series, and we take it one by one, and our focus is on the next game. And we'll look at a bunch of things we could have done better, obviously, in that run in the third quarter. But I don't think at this point there's any anxiety from the players. It is what it is. We've been battle-tested throughout the playoffs, and this far into a series, it should be on to the next. And I think we've seen what makes us successful and just have to have carryover after a win more so than we have in the past in the playoffs this year.